Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of One Page Story Extravaganza. Okay, hi, how are you? I'm turning this down. 80s music, you gotta listen to it loud. Hi, how are you? How's things going? What's new and exciting? It's a lovely day outside. We had snow this week, so that was fun. Hey, I got a groovy bit of music behind me. That's awesome. I'm gonna take that down. It might be distracting. Paused. It's fun though. Learning how to do stuff. Okay, so today is day 3 of working on this idea of exploring a number of different ways in which we can examine the same suggestion of I don't know. Wow. Boy, the suggestion's so good I forgot it. Boy, oh boy. I can't describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. Oh boy, I can't describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. So what I did the other day is that I laid out 4 different versions, and we've already done 2. So we've done today's is the farmhouse, and I'm trying to mess with the idea of the suggestion as opposed to just specifically stating its suggestion on this page. So. I don't know. I'm okay with that. There's a part of me that goes, go back and change that text, just because I'm a bit of a neurotic lunatic. So, but we laid out 4. The first page that we did, we could probably pull that up. With the magic of interwebs. Actually, it's not interwebs, it's just the robot. Okay, so yeah, we got the previous page, which is the hoarders in the household trying to figure out where the item is, and then as soon as they find the first arbitrary item that's found, is this it? Yes. So so that's 2 pages in a row that we've done off of this idea. Day 1. Day 2. Now, I'm keeping the coloring on these guys kind of basic. And my thinking behind that was I want to have a sort of consistency amongst these pages. That has been the thought. The reality, I think, for me is that I would go back in and make these images more sophisticated, because at this point, I don't feel completely fulfilled and resolved on that one. Hey, everybody, it's Corbin. Corbin, you come and say hi? Come and say hi? That was it. That's what you got. Okay. So I'm going to take a look at that again. That's my point. So, okay. So I'll pull up the table, and on the table camera, don't look at that as a secret. This is the original 4. So the first page that we did was the hoarding page. Now we've done the Grandma Interrogated by the FBI page, which leaves us the other 2 of the television studio interview. And this one is the can't remember where you put something or even what it was, which is a real thing. It's a real situation that happens to people. Now, I can also finish these 2 over the weekend, because I have another idea, and it's hot and fresh. Speaking of hot and fresh, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Lewin, stop the presses. Oh, okay, you can start, Domingo. Nice. Hey, that guy's funny. Corbin likes him. We both like him. He's good people. If you get a chance, check out Jim's streams that he's been doing, his live streams that are on his channel called Hey Man, How's Your Movie Going? And where he talks about what process is behind making an animated film as an individual. It's not an easy thing to do, folks, especially since, like, we're talking at least an hour duration, and that's a lot of work, you know. So you really got to have your processes down. You really got to have your everything sort of roughed out, the idea, the characters, etc., and then you can play from there. But Jim's a fantastic example of an animator who produces results. So the old hoarder grandmother interrogated by the FBI trope. Doesn't Hollywood ever think of anything new? Just smash those 2 pages together, man. They're all looking for the same thing, but what is it? It's going to be awesome. We could call it North by Northwest, and they'll be looking for a MacGuffin. Can you imagine being in a boardroom where Alfred Hitchcock says, "The nature of my next film is for having a number of individuals searching for an item that I'm never going to show on television"? That would be a great moment to go, "Come again? Try that again, Alfie. What? That'd be so cool." Just imagine walking into a room and saying, "I'm going to have a bunch of people chasing after an item. What's the item? I'm never going to show it." It doesn't matter. It'd just be great. Are you going to make torture-ready blonde ladies and make them slide down a wall in anguish because you didn't get to do that film? But, you know, Couteau? Or is it? No, what is it? What's a French filmmaker that he loved? Not Clouseau. Maybe it is Clouseau. Maybe this is an irrelevant conversation. Anyways, so I also thought of another idea that we could do, and something along the idea of buildings, and somebody's looking for, to buy some real estate. This is just an idea that came to me for the last second, and of course the real estate agent says, "Well, what is it you're looking for?" And he says, "Can't describe it, but I'll know it when I see it." And so they just wander around the city, and there, that's it. It's perfect. "Sir, that's an empty pit. The building hasn't started yet." "I know, I love it. It's deep. I like that. That'd be lower than everybody else." And people would be like, "Why is he so different?" I don't know. And these are the thoughts that kept me out of architecture school. Okay. During the book sale, I got a fun book, Modern Orioles. And I know what you're thinking. The birds? No. The baseball team? No. The top of buildings. Anyhow, this is a cool planning and design book, which is specifically about the tops of buildings. And it talks about the different approaches that one can take to designing these raised window elements on top of buildings. And that's what an Oriole is. And just the tops. The theme, the book, the reader. So it's a lot of preparatory stuff. And then they just start, it's just nonstop photos of building after building after building after building after. You see where I'm going. And love it. I mean, this is a wealth of source imagery, especially for a crazy kid like me who likes to draw with the pictures. So, I thought that might be something fun to do. I get ideas. That's why my friends call me Whiskers. So, yeah, this could be something that we explore. But I figure I've got 2 pieces of paper that I want to utilize for this. I smashed a little bit of red ink around on this page, and I dragged it with my draggy tool. And so I thought we could utilize this as well as this, jelly-plated paper, and incorporate the 2 onto a 1-page, 2-page, 3-page U-page that I could do, that I'll do over the course of the weekend. We got a busy weekend, so we'll see how much how many pages we can get on the doing with. But let's get cracking. What say you? All right, so today I got a whole bunch of different things I'm gonna throw in here. And why is that, Chris? I'm glad you asked. I've got 2 more elements I want to put forward, and that is red Posca and a white Posca. So I've got some yellow and some orange that I thought about mixing into the whole situation. But, let's not get too carried away. So, all right. All right, so there we go. We got lots of different tools to choose from for mixed mediating up this sucker. There's some paint pens, jelly roll pen. There's, let's take the paint pens to the side already. There's water-based pen. We've got some different markers and drawing pens. And so let's just have a go. I don't know. There's no plan to this one. And the reason that I'm spreading out rather than just finishing the 4 is that, yeah, I'm doing the 4, but it's when you got everything laid out in front of you. This is not how I work. How I tend to work. Yes, buddy. How I tend to work is to just go for it. Just get started and find it in the process. I hate laying everything out in advance and then having to work to that. The reason that I do that is it takes away all the spontaneity for me. You got to leave yourself some wiggle room while you're on a project for some experimentation or some self-growth, instead of just sticking rigidly to, here's what the plan is, this is how we're going to go about it. So I got a orange pen to start with, but I think that I'll type this in before I forget. If anybody's got stuff they're working on, anybody's interested in jumping in on stream, let me know. And also, I thought it would be more exciting for me not to just be completing one of the previous ones. If you think otherwise, I'll do one of the previous ones. I'm okay with that. I got to look it up again. I can't, for whatever reason, cannot remember. I don't know how to describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. Okay, so just curious, have you ever listened to the Comic Lab podcast? Is that Scott's underground lair thing, like Scott talking about stuff, or no? Because no, if that's probably not. Comic Lab, I don't know if I have or not, but I don't know. Is it where all the cool kids hang out? Is it the back of the bus? Anybody has checked out that podcast? All right, so I'm just going to, I want to just initially come up with some what pages and some kind of crazy reactions to the idea expressed. First thing I know. There we go. It's a loud song. No, I haven't. If there are podcasts that people think I should check out, please, by all means, feel free to suggest those. Just put them in the chat here or wherever else. But, there's so many things out there. There's one guy I used to get a kick out of, and I can't remember his name. I think it was Evan or Ethan or something like that. And I get a kick out of this guy because he'd do some talks about projects, and then it reduced just to him criticizing others' work, and I'm like, out. But he'd talk with a microphone attached to a knife. Like, what's wrong with this guy? What am I not doing right? Hey, Corbin? All right. Okay, so my first thing to do is to draw the incredulous face of, what? That's crazy! Yeah. Dave Kellett and Brad Giger. And Giger or Geiger? Which one counts? Did you get it? All right, Brad Giger and Dave Kellett. Comic Lab. Is it them talking about Batman books? Because that drives me crazy. Check it out when you get a chance. Thanks, Jim. Okay, so right off the hop, I'm just going to draw in our first character. I think you can see the face starting to develop there already, but the idea here, of course, is that I just want to start with that sort of incredulity right off the hop, where one of our characters says, "You want to do what?" You know, but in the most dramatic way possible. Well, check that out, Jim. Thank you. There's I've tried to watch a few of these, a bunch of. There's a reason I like the guys in the Artcasters is that they don't tend to be. Well, they aren't those sort of guys lock-horned in on, just the superhero world, and I have seen a couple of independent and alternative approaches to sequential art and things like that, but they tend to be the highly annoying type. I'll let you decide for yourself what that means. Okay, so let's give this kid some hair. There's a guy named Cash something or other that sells real estate or he rents out apartments in New York. And there's my version of Cash. Used to be a half of a show called Webcomics Weekly. Huh, cool. Okay, so let's just put some color on this crazy kid's little gap here. I've had a couple of different project opportunities come up this week, and I turned one down. It was hey, you should work on this, and no, I don't want to work on that. But I do like the idea of working on projects with others. It's just as long as it's within reason. And this project that came up, that it was not a healthy project. It was another one of these over the top. I don't know how to explain it. Just the whole barbarian guy, and he's got to say Princess Babe in bikini, and I'm like, yeah, you got the wrong guy. And it's only because they should. My problem with it is that when do I ever draw stuff like that? And why me? And I tend to find that if a person looks that little in advance on the people they're working on a project with, what's that going to tell you about where the project's going to go? So, okay, so here's our first guy, and we get him in the. I'm just playing with colors and shapes. Artcasters were great until the fame, money, and drugs kicked in. Yeah, one guy's gone so far south the cheese that he looks like Khan from Star Trek at this point. That was, if you get a chance, check out the Halloween episode of the Artcasters this year. It's just purely for Scott Circland. I mean, the rest of it's great too, but purely for Scott Circland. It's probably the best, Khan from old school Star Trek that costume that I've ever seen. Or maybe it was the real guy. Anyways, today I just wanted to play. I just want to make a mess, right? And in the course of making a mess, let's see if we can find some story. So I hope everybody's got a big, fun, exciting weekend planned. I don't mean to brag or anything, but we've got to go outside and put everything away for the winter. Yeah. We got to pack up our outdoor gear that we really didn't use a lot this year. I kind of like the scribbles. I really do. All right. Now, is there any websites that anybody that's in this stream today, is there any website that you really enjoy watching, and kind of why? What is it that you find endearing about this specific site? So here's our first panel. Will you focus? Will you focus, camera? Maybe. Okay. Let's put some emphasis points in this kid's face. I've been watching for a few months now this British guy who's in Paris trying to build a chateau, rebuild a fire damaged chateau by himself. He's got these pulley systems set up to get beams and boards on the different floors, and then there was another one that was on. It was like, he just hires whoever he needs because it's clearly a different approach to it. I found the guy working on his own to be more interesting. All right. Okay, so here's our first guy. You wanna what? Okay, where was I? Oh, the orange is what I started with. And then we'll start getting into drawing some building tops, but I thought I'd start here, right? So today's suggestion, based on, I don't know how to describe it, but I'll know it when I see it, is house hunting. Just completely wrong way, in my opinion, right? But let's shake it up. Let's draw a lady as our protagonist. And then we'll go over to Corbin Corner, see how he's feeling today. Let's check it out now. Hey, everybody, it's Corbin Corner. Oh, hi, Dan. Welcome aboard. Hey, Corbin. Corbin, how's it going? Anything you want to tell everybody? Let me get back to you on that. Yeah, he's lost in thought. Welcome aboard, Dan. How you doing today, sir? Okay, what was I doing? All right. Let's do a cheeky smile. I'll put Dan up there. Everybody say hi to Dan and go check out what Dan's doing. I'm going to try this weekend and get out and to visit a bunch of people's streams and pages. And it's been a hectic week. And it's been, well, the last month was a little stupid with doing the page a day. Mom home. See you, bud. Doing a page a day as well as Inktober, just it takes your time, and it just sort of, you gotta do things. Work fast. Second, I don't know. No grumps. Sun's out. Doing well. How about me? Well, I got up this morning. That started it all. And left foot, right foot. You know what I'm saying? I'm having a good day. I'm having a good day. I got some stuff done. We got some plans. This last couple weeks here, last week and a half, I suppose, Lori and I have renovated the house, and this is what I'm talking about by busy, is that I'll do it one page. I've got a little bit to do on other projects and trying to learn how to do video editing, and then painting in a number of rooms in the house, as well as shampoo vacuuming and all that stuff. So it's been intense. So all of that stuff is pretty well done. So now it's chillax time. Mai Tais beside the pool. If you could swim in water right now in Canada, or if I drank, I don't know. Okay, so I'm just putting down our second cheeky character, whose idea is the motivation on this page. And I had considered about just hand lettering right on the page today, but my hand's not steady enough for that today. Besides, I'm listening to Krista Berg. It's in the playlist. I'm just too lazy to take it out. And Jim says, "Hi, Dad." It's funny. My wife had to drive today for, to do with her work. She had to drive to another city nearby, which is like an hour away. And an hour away. Yeesh. And then there's other people I know that it takes them, a good hour to drive across their cities. I just forget about that sometimes and said, hey, everything's so spaced out here that you don't even think about it. The other city's way over there. But we got a really good highway system, so it doesn't take long. Okay, so here is our next character. I'm doing a cartoony style book right now, like very cartoony, and I'm having a real kick out of it. I don't know if anybody else here has tried that, where you just try to work in a completely different style than you generally do. It's fun. Old school with the hard hand rulers and touch-up brushes for the paint in the room. Oh yeah, definitely old school. You bet it is. It's the only way to paint. These spray painters, the air things, not for me. All the way old school, and I'm fast at it. Because when you do it, you. I'm surprised. I've been painting for a while. It's going to be a speed demon. So we got, I showed the latest Corbin video. I've got a couple of videos that I'm working on right now. One of these videos, I'll be honest with you, it is simply the goofiest it's all editing, and I've now caught I've got a handle on editing to some extent, so I'm just having a ball doing things. And but I've got a page where I keep facing the wrong way for the camera, or a video where I'm facing the wrong way for the camera every shot, and trying to just have a ball with it, and that'll be available by Monday. But this is my latest silliness that I've put into the mix is doing some video stuff. What's the latest with your book? Well, I've got 2 digital books up on Patreon if people are interested in, supporting the old jibber jabber here. That they're $5 digital copies of Pages, and those are available now. As far as it goes for the hard copy book, Lori's overseeing it, and I have no idea when that thing's going to be done. Because, who we're working with they've got their schedule. So, and despite thinking that, we're being told even that these dates, no, they're not. So, I don't know when that'll be done. But Lori's dealing with that because I guess can't hear. She's able to get engaged and do some stuff and oversee this project, and I really appreciate her doing that because I find it very frustrating. In the meantime, I've got 2 digital books out and 2 more loaded up, ready to put out. So, and we're putting all those on Patreon, and the Patreon shop. Just look up 1-page story extravaganza. Okay, let's do I have switch it up. This is kind of a fun way to go about drawing a page. It's just going panel to panel to panel to panel to panel to panel. I'm guessing that started at that big Omen generator when the popcorn is ceiling at 80. Oh, for goodness sakes. My first house, I spent a good 2 days of working on a ceiling and 2 further days of trying to get all this stuff off me. I just felt like I just kept finding more, but I had to strip a popcorn ceiling off a room in our house because it did not age well in a smoker's household. But then that popcorn paint was everywhere for 2 days. It looks cool, but it's not easy. Okay, so here's our second character. And they're having their little conversation about, you want to see what? Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, though. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just having an absurd bit of fun today. So here's our first guy. He says, let me see if I can write it in this. Let me see it better. You want to what? Let's just go look. Okay. Oh, look at all that text. So now we'll draw him with a sad face. I like this guy's hair now. And then we get right into, now that I've got these two characters introduced, let's get into drawing these different Orioles off the tops of buildings. Yeah, Laura's home because Corbin is taken off. She's much more popular than I am with the cats. It looks, great job in the expressions. Oh, thanks, Dan. It looks like Nancy Walker, the actress in the second drawing, Rhoda's mom. Can't even remember what Rhoda's mom looked like. I guess, well, it's Nancy Walker. Okay, so now we've taken his face to a face. Thanks for asking about the book, by the way, Jim. That's very nice of you. Oh, I'm supposed to color that with the marker. Where are we at? I think that next shot needs to be a city shot. And the reason that I think so is because he's going to say, do you know how many places, how many different kinds of places there are in this city, lady? His hair is kind of based on the British comedian Joe Lycett. That's what his sort of look is based on. It's a guy that spent a year of taking people's, when people try to clean out their apartments and they put some furniture out in the street, he'd pick it up, put it in the storage unit that he had in the basement of this building. And then he'd go put it back out like 2 weeks later and then sneak out that same night and put it away again. And then he'd, go out again the next night and put it back, a couple nights later and put it back in the street. And you're like, just what the hell's going on with your old stuff? Why does that keep appearing and disappearing? It's just kind of fun. Nice and silly. I like silly. There we go. Just to mess with people. Oh, yeah. I think you're doing emojis that don't turn out in the chat. It's fun that, because then you just got to read green face, tongue sticking out. That's cute. Sometimes it's good just to mess with people. There's James Bead or something like that. This is another English comedian that he lived with a bunch of people. There were 5 of them in an apartment in Los Angeles. And one day he went to a dollar store and he bought a bunch of little mini ducks and he put them in the bathroom. And then each time he'd go to the dollar store, he'd buy more ducks and he'd set them up in the bathroom. His roommates were like, Joe, what, what are you doing? And he's like, what? They're ducks. Everybody likes ducks. Okay, just it's getting weird. And could you just, I don't know, figure out what you're doing with the ducks? And so he took that as an invitation to bring in more ducks. And so he just starts hiding ducks everywhere and having funerals with the ducks and all kinds of different associations with these ducks. So good. Driving his roommates crazy. But at the same time, all in jest, right? All in good fun. Okay, here's a funny story. It's funny story time with Chris. Oh, hi, Miriam. Welcome aboard. Like a Steve Wright comedy story. Oh, yeah. So I was a teenager and I went to work on a farm. And the old man on the farm says to me, what's with your shirt, kid? Because I had a Ted Kennedy shirt on, a DK shirt, that old punk band. And I said, it's a band. He goes, who would they call themselves that? Everybody knows Kennedy's dead. Because the way that the shirt was designed, Kennedy's was up, dead was across the top, and Kennedy's was down the right side, or the left side, I'm sorry. So he didn't read it as dead Kennedy's. He read it as Kennedy's dead. The hell, you're celebrating Kennedy's death? I remember when that happened. And I'm like, I never thought of it that way. Well, is that what it's about? No. That's a dumb story from Chris. You're welcome. Okay, so here's our guy. So in this panel, he's saying, do you know how many places there are here? All right, so now we get to draw some places. Isn't that fun? Okay. So I've got this cool book on Orioles building tops. And first image I find of a big city view, bunch of buildings. That's the one that's happening. There it is. Bingo. Bingo. All right. So one of the things I can do here is leave these panels here, but I'm going to come in with a brush. A brush? Yep, that's what I said. Did I wear the black flag shirt the next day? No. What the hell's that? Of course it's a black flag. You can see the flag right there. What's wrong with you kids? Yeah, no. I had a friend get kicked out for wearing an SFH shirt to school. And I didn't even know what SFH stood for because I never listened to the band. But the teacher's like, what is that? Is that a group? I said, yep. SFH, that's the name of it? And he says, yep. And then another girl whispers to another girl, because there was this whole crackdown on what you weren't allowed to wear in high schools in the early 80s. And so this other girl whispers to her friend, it means Sam Hain. The teacher immediately looks at this kid and goes, all right, get that off. Those dumb moments of shirts. It's just a shirt. It's not like you're making some declarative statement against somebody else or anything like that. It's just a silly shirt. But there you go. All right, so I'm just going to do the reason that I brought the brush in. What you bringing the brush in for, Chris? Glad you asked. The reason, so this is ink I'm using right now. And the reason I got this going is that I can lay down a whole bunch of shapes really quickly, and then we will pull what we need out of them in a moment. But to start things off, we can just get this ink down over the area. What's Dan saying? My friend Donnie, wore Ozzy Osbourne's Bark of the Moon t-shirt to school. It went over well with the principal in a small Montana town. Sasquatch fanatic, eh? I get it. Yeah, I can imagine. The 80s Satanic Panic. That's, I like early Black Sabbath. That's the band that Ozzy was in. I like early Black Sabbath because it's jazz. It's just jazz. And if you don't think so, listen to Fairies with Boots or Rat Salad, classic names. And those are some really fantastic songs, improvisational jazz. But trying to explain to people that, you're listening to devil music. Oh, slow down. Just music. All right, so I'm just going to throw in some shapes. And just cut out, some cityscapes in this image that floats in behind the first 3 panels, which technically makes this one the first panel. Way to jump the cue, guy. Most good rock and roll drummers were jazz drummers. Charlie Watts, Ginger Baker, you're darn tootin'. Yep, that's for sure. There's there's a band recently, the Killers, and all this. The strongest part of that band is that drummer. That drummer's insane. If you get a chance to listen to those guys, that's something else. Yeah, I really used to enjoy I still do enjoy the Charlie Watts Orchestra, which most people, unfortunately, don't know about. And then he played with some real jazz greats on there. Al Cohn was in that group with him. Man, that's a good player. He was one of the guys that was recording with Kerouac on his 4 poetry albums. So I'm just putting some buildings in here. Just cutting out some tones, some shapes. And it will come in a second and start pulling out some positive space on them. Instead of these negative lines we're putting down here. Just to make it fun. And then he can say, of course, what kind of place you're looking for. And then she gets to drop that line. I can't describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. And so it fits into our recurring motif here that we're doing. And then next week, of course, I'll get right back on, doing all the various suggestions I get from folks. But just fun to play, All right, so I'm going to start putting in some alternating values, alternating marks. I'll hold that up because it's, and of course, my cheap useless camera doesn't really pick it up, but let me tell you, it's brilliant. Yeah, I like a lot of bands that have a lot of jazz pieces in their work, and that early Sabbath stuff, man, oh man. It's funny, with Sabbath and with the Doors, and I'm ready for the fist fight with this statement, by the way. The least strong part of Sabbath and the Doors is the singer. It's Ozzy, bro. Who cares? It's the band. Geezer Butler, Tony. Oh my goodness, those guys can play. It's the same as Densmore, Krieger, and Manzarek in the Doors. Holy cow, what a group. You just come across certain talents, and bingo, bango, bongo. Dan says, she is evil. Who's evil? What did I miss? What did I say? Are you familiar with the Japanese young lady Yoyoka? She plays the drums. She's 13 now. No, I'm not. That sounds cool. That sounds very cool. Is it going to let me cut any lines in? No. I'm going to have to go with this guy. Ginger Baker, the Ginger Baker selection, cream, man. Is he in Blind Faith too? That guy's, I think he's my height. Not a short man, that's for sure. Yeah, I got a lot of. No, you're cooked. My white's buried. That's all right. We'll use this guy. The drummer in, of course, Neil Peart, Rush, but the drummer in Primus is a pretty fantastic drummer. It has all kinds of really interesting moves. The drummer in Mars Volta, pure technician. It's interesting. The middle of my drawing is "The woman is evil," says Miriam. Well, yeah, she's asking him to show her all over the city to just look at random properties. I'll know it when I see it, she says. Ugh. So I'm going to come in a second, the dark marker, and start pulling some negative lines back in. I watched Sabbath on video play Paris 1970. I thought Bill Ward was fantastic. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. The, for heaven's sakes, the drummer of Yes, not Bruford, not the original drummer, but I think it's Tony White. I think it was Tony White, maybe not. But the longest standing drummer in the band, Yes. He's passed on now, but that guy there's a phenomenal drummer. you know, prog rock. There's some crazy kind of musicians producing prog rock bands. So starting to look a little bit like a city, a little bit. Am I missing? Nope, I'm keeping up. Okay, so we're in. We're finishing off the fourth panel. So different forms, different values kicking around. You'll find that if you look at a photograph of a city view, that's what you're going to see is a whole bunch of shapes and things making up buildings. And you'll be able to recognize some things, but not everything is so clearly defined. All right, everybody behave. Corbin's back. Okay, yeah, that's looking all right. Just keep doing this part across. If you're in southwestern Ontario, or wherever you might be, if you're driving at a place where you come off a raised area, like, along the side of a mountain, or like we have a place here called Hamilton, and when you drive into Hamilton, it's down in a valley, and so as you drive in from this one direction, it's a really cool way of looking at a city. It's spread out and how buildings recede, and what this city view is missing is any greenery at all, and there's not enough differentiation. This is rather flat, flat city without too much diversity in the size of the buildings. Whereas you see places like major cities where buildings are popping up and dropping down. It's pretty good. They're pop locking buildings. A couple more little things I'll do in here, and we'll get moving along. There, kind of got a city happening at this point. Okay. Good on that side. Just a little bit more on this side. All right. This is a white acrylic ink. It's got a film noir feel, says Dan. What are you saying about that there, Dan? What are you trying to say, pal? Thanks, buddy. I love film noir. I really do. I like stories that don't have little answers where, oh, everything's going to work out. Everything doesn't work out. And one of the nice things about film noir films is that they'll explore something through to its conclusion, whether it's something that people really want or not. Okay, so the ink that was on the paper before, I'm just pulling some of it back. And we're going to go in a second and throw some cloud shapes in this sucker. It's a relatively impractical way to do this, but by putting the city moving through the background behind the different panels, it sort of ties our page together. And all of these elements within the page are clearly unified into the narrative. It's kind of fun. I like stuff like that. All right. Okay. Okay, guys, gonna pretend to be adult. Pretty city, said with a curled lip. Pretty city. Like it. I love it. Gonna go pretend to be adults. Good seeing everybody. Good to see you, Dan. I hope you have a great weekend. Miriam says, adults? Where? Okay, so we've got a good little city view running around in behind. It's really abstract, Just had to put that last little piece in there. I'll cut back in on that in a second. So in order to play with the environment a little bit, where I've got a lot of predominant red in the area in the foreground, I'm going to throw some little cloud shapes in here with the orange. And then we're putting in some some more shapes, some more buildings. And we'll bring that across. Where are we at? Okay, so there's our first 4 panels in already. What are we at? An hour 7. We're making good time. You guys are doing great. Okay, so there's our first 4 panels. Do you know how many places there are? It's a big city. Okay, come on, enough of that. Okay, so there's our first 4 panels, and I'm putting the text up above the panels as we go, just to sort of remind myself. You know, and then we're going to start drawing in some of these cool building shapes. So let's go back to our cheeky-faced lady, shall we? Let's get the orange off here. So my thought was, how can I incorporate some of the elements off of this jelly-plated image? And now I realize I'm just doing this very different direction on it. And that's kind of what's fun about experimentation, is that you don't get, you know, bogged down in, oh no, now it has to be this way. Let it go. Move on. Follow the course. Follow the course of the river. See where it takes you. So in this case, we're going with this ballpoint pen style. Now, I'll switch the value up a little bit. Went from the, I think I started with, oh no, I guess I've started with orange and then enhanced with red. So we're doing okay on this front. Here we go. Making sure I'm not missing stuff. Thanks everybody for coming out today and hanging out. Fun time Friday, so I'm getting a little crazy in a broken script and thrown a 5th idea in for I'm don't know how to describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. So, and this is around a person wanting to find a new place, a new apartment, new in the downtown of the city. So it's kind of fun. All right, let's go in with that. There it is. So here's the first row of our page so far. And it's coming together really fast. There, that's fine. So the idea I'm trying to get across here is that, she's like, like that. Her face is all puckered up. I think I did the hair. I think I did. Didn't I use the Sharpie? Maybe I did the paint. I don't know. One way or another, there it is now. So one of the things I've really been trying to do when doing all these different pages and trying all these different approaches is that I really want to just explore potentiality in a story. I really want to explore the idea that it can take us in different directions. It can, if we follow a narrative or if we follow the characters and how they're contending with the contextual narrative that they're within, what's this person's personality and how would they respond? Sometimes those opportunities to drift off into a different direction than you might have initially intended, those are fun opportunities, and if I can do that, if I can just see where that takes me, it's been, honestly, over the course of these last so many months, this year, it is taking storytelling in completely unexpected and different ways. And I strongly encourage allowing yourself the moment for experimentation. Allow yourself the chance to see where the initial idea you had might go. If you can start developing a character and listening to their voice and, hearing, you know, in that dialogue as you're putting it down, what you think they might say next, and try to find some authenticity in that. I think it's surprising how much it removes your voice out of it and how the characters start speaking in their own regard. And it's largely just because you're finding their expressions in the course of the visual narrative. And we know for a fact that how they're associating things differently because of the expression of, bitterness on the face, or, and as that dialogue is coming through in conjunction with that, there's this sort of directional development that you might not have initially considered. And I like that. I like the opportunity of that. So feel it's your story. It's your piece. Explore the narrative, explore the idea. And if you fall back into a single rhythm, if you fall back into all the pages end this way, then doing that, listening to introducing a character that might go against your type of characters that you use, or if you predominantly have two guys talking, make it two girls. If you got, if you always have it based on romance, have it based on contempt, and see where the story walks, see where that direction goes. And then the second half of it must be try to have some measure of consistency in it. And what I mean by that is, if your characters are going to repetitively be in a scene or a story, try to look individual. Try to keep those characters looking like themselves and nobody else. And if you've got a bunch of characters in your story that they're all the same, and people are like, okay, I can't tell anybody apart from anybody else now. Or if they have the same motivations, all these people want the same kind of revenge. How can you have multiple revenge stories going on at once? You could have a whole bunch of different characters loathe another character and want revenge upon them, but somebody's revenge story is what you're following. And everybody else is incidental to that. But that's where, those things come across as you're listening to the narrative voice that's in the story. And like I said, sometimes it might not be what you intended in the first place at all. The same comes with visual elements. Just play. Put marks down and see where they take you. But then there's, like with this character here, in the previous panel, we got this orange running behind them, But whereas the previous panels had this city running behind them, I've got this character as the full panel. Just to tie that page together. No spaces in between panels, because even the panels that have spaces between them are full up by another panel that's lying behind. And we're able to put a hard line around these to separate these more clearly from the background. It would have to be an element that isn't existing a lot, and there's like a solid, clean, crisp orange, like a dark orange value. Oh, okay, so let's get the text above this one. Okay, you want to what? Let's just go look at it, okay? Do you know how many places there are? It's a big city. But that's the sweet spot. No, let's not say that. That's silly. It's, how many places there are? It's a big city. How about that's the idea? Yeah. So now what that affords me is the opportunity to, explore visually all these potential locations, all these potential places that they could see. And I've got this book that I showed earlier on Orioles, different building shapes and building tops. And, so now I can start just having fun drawing some of these shapes and saying, hey, what about this? And oh, no, it's too square. And what about that? No, it's too rectangular. It's kind of like it looks the same. No, almost square. The other's rectangular. It's just playing with these different notions of these different properties. And, well, do you know what you're looking for? I don't know how to describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. So this is a very different direction than the previous pages that I've already got pre-laid out. And I'll try to get those done this weekend too and have those posted up as Patreon exclusives. Got a whole bunch of stuff to put on Patreon still, and I'm really kind of annoyed that I'm lagging so far behind. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, come on up. Okay, so here's that. And we'll tie that together so everything's at the same height as it moves across now. So that's a little bit cleaner there. I kind of like that. So we can also intersperse in this page, more talking heads, where he says, well, what are you looking for then? So as we have these different panels, but what I can do is I can reverse it even. I can have the panels have little city vistas and then have him talking here and her talking there, but they're interspersed by city shots as he's trying to find her things to see for living in. Yes, sir. Well, come up. Come on. You need special permission. There you go, kid. Say hi to everybody. What a day. All right. I don't know. That's the whole point, is to try different things and to explore. Corbin, Heidi, and Caramel say hi to you. Okay? Okay. Hey, everybody. It's Gary. How you doing, Gary? Welcome aboard. Okay, so there's our first 5 panels, I guess. And then, so if we start incorporating different images of different buildings right now at this point, and then that way, well, what do you think about this kind of apartment? No. What do you think about this kind of apartment? No. So right off the hop, we can just start drawing different environments and just, like I said, just playing with visual elements and incorporating those in. Yes, sir? I'm busy right now. Gotta do this. Okay. Gary says hello. Miriam says hello, Gary. How you doing? Nope. Okay, get up. So we'll draw, I don't know, a sitting chair here. We'll get a view of an apartment to start off. And what do you think of this place? I should say. Now, not what I'm looking for. So I hope everybody's gonna have a fun weekend. Got lots of good stuff planned. We've got lots going on. some friends want to take us out for our anniversary. Our anniversary was a little bit ago, but we have a really hard time getting together, the four of us. No, stop it. You're a lunatic. Just sit down. Okay, so there's a start of an apartment coming in now. And then we'll add some more. So this is our base color that we're putting down now. And then we'll add some more tones to it to build it up and develop the whole of the image. So what do you think of this apartment? Nope. Too windowy. I don't know. I don't know what the reason for the dismissal would be. Windowy. It sounds like a good excuse. Nope. Too many windows. It's a high rise. Yep. No, that's too far over. That's all right. We'll cut it out. Okay. So we've switched directions now, where we've had the cityscape in behind the talking heads. Now we're going to have these little apartment vistas separated by a unifying image of him talking to her. So it's just a switch of form, right? Right, Chris. Oh, we're on the same page. Right on, brother. So, the information that's in behind from the ink that was already down on the paper, I just incorporate it as I go. Not too overly worried about making sure it all disappears. When it bleeds through, it kind of gives us different shapes and ideas that we might not normally have gotten. Gotten. Okay. So now I'm going to run through this jelly roll pen, start punching some of the white through, and put some shape to the windows in the background. Just to make them a little more interesting. Very stylish and sleek upper society, fancy schmancy New York apartment. I don't know, maybe. How would I know? here. Let's do some of that. All right. Where are we at? 131. We made a lot of progress here, folks. We made a lot of progress, yokes. Just little emphasis points. Any of the names that you see in the chat today on the stream, I do encourage you to check out their stuff. Check out their different social profiles. They're on Instagram, they're on YouTube or Facebook. Enjoy and embrace the things that we all are, each of us, doing. You never know, you're going to come across something that what? It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. How did you know I'd like this? Did you do this for me? There we go. There we go. Some shapes, some fun stuff. Yeah, that's a cool apartment. I'd live in it. Okay, so here we are. Here's our page so far. And we've got these connecting motifs, and the intention for the next part of the page is to showcase a number of little vignettes of apartment spaces and have our principal person turn them all down. Even though they don't know how to describe what they're looking for, they'll know it when they see it. And that gives us the affordance of just enjoying drawing and enjoying drawing different elements and not being too hung up in pre-laid out images. Now, the other two images that I did lay out for working 4 different pages, excuse me, Corbin, off of the same suggestion is the talk show and the man who walked in a room and forgot what he was doing. So, yeah, I'll still explore those this weekend and have some fun with them. I just needed to, stretch my legs a little bit from working black and white, and try a page using these various tools. So, that's kind of a fun thing to just shake it, to just try something different and approach it differently. But this page will say, you want to what? Let's just go look at, okay? Do you know how many places there are? It's a big city. That's the idea. Let's go check them all out. Well, what are you looking for? I don't know how to describe it, Corbin, but I'll know it when I see it. Okay. All right. Well, with that, I think I'm going to sign off and get a couple things going. We've got some plans for this evening, but I'll have this done and I'll have it posted. I'll have the other 2 pages posted on Patreon this weekend, and this guy will be posted for everybody to get a gander at that we're watching this development today. So I'll have this guy posted on Monday. So, and that'll be the 5, and then visually in Monday's stream, I will show you the 5 different iterations of the same suggested idea. And so that'll be fun. The 4 that we developed together, the 5th random one that I wanted to just play with another idea today. And we'll look at all those and talk about how just through one notion, one idea, one sentence, one term, one expression, we can interpret it in so many different ways creatively. It can just send us off on 5 very different tangents of exploration and story. So I've had a lot of fun. I hope you've had a lot of fun. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Go and check out the streams of people that are streaming this weekend. And I'll see you on Monday at 2 p.m. EST. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye for now.